Bugs. That's it. That's the video. That's it. That's my intro. Hey, I'm Amanda. I'm professionally curious and I talk for a living, and you're watching Swell Entertainment, the channel where I tell you about whatever I'm obsessed with every week. And today we are talking about the National History Museum of Los Angeles's Bug Fair. So be warned, there will be bugs. I understand that a lot of people don't like bugs, including seeing bugs. So there will be footage of bugs. Some are going to be deceased and pinned in show boxes and such. Others are alive. Please be warned, if that's uncomfortable for you, there will in fact be bugs in this video. You've been warned about bugs. I better not have any comments being like, you didn't warn me about the bugs. There are bugs. So many bugs. All the bugs. Just bugs, okay? Also want to include this before we continue. We're getting into event season, which means I'm going to be going to a lot of events, which means there's going to be footage of me wearing a mask. Now, some of you know this about me. Typically, if I go to big events back to back, I either mask at one or both of the events because I am very aware of my responsibility as a potential super spreader. If I am not careful, I could, if I got sick, get a lot of people sick. So I take that responsibility very seriously, and if I ever feel sick at an event, I immediately leave, okay? But just making that statement now. So that's why you've seen me in masks previously, you know, and I always wear a mask on public transportation, flights, things like that, okay? However, now we have this other thing happening, okay? So I just want to make this abundantly clear so you hear me. Hold on, I'm realizing my light's off. I'll leave this in. Now you can see me. I have this thing, it's been a thing since 2025. I refuse to get sick. COVID, Hanta, Noro, dancing bug virus. I don't know. I don't want it. For my viewers who are immune compromised, I understand. I get your lovely messages thanking me for wearing a mask, but you should know it is purely selfish. I don't want to get sick. Yes, I have my responsibility, but above that is me being grossed out by how icky people have gotten. I did have a membership for the Natural History Museum. It was $109. It gets me and a guest in anytime I want to go, but also it gets me any of the special exhibits that usually cost money. It's included in my membership, which is great. Bug Fair apparently was included in my membership. I don't know why it didn't work out this way, but anyways, I ended up giving them $18. So even without membership, it would be $18, which I'm fairly certain is also the day admission for the museum. Okay, so something to think about as well, because this is like the Bug Fair and there's a bunch of extra stuff. There's also certain exhibits that are blocked off during the Bug Fair. You'll see in the footage, 2 of the rooms where they have the big circles with like the curtains and everything. Those are the mammal rooms and the diorama rooms. Those are actually really sick. I do recommend them. It's kind of cool. I also recommend checking out the reframing dioramas exhibit on upstairs because it gives like a lot of really good breakdowns about like ethics and like politics of dioramas and like literally reframing dioramas of like, yes, this looks like this. We're moving them around to make them more historically accurate and things like that. It's very cool. I definitely recommend it. But these exhibits are blocked off. I have a really funny video of one of the animals like peeking through the curtains, and it's like, don't put me behind the curtain. Sorry, that's... The important part is I found it funny. I did hear a few people throughout the day being like, oh, there's a bug fair? Like they definitely didn't realize, I don't think, that there was an exhibit happening, like a fair happening. So a couple of exhibits are blocked off, but for the most part, the entire museum is open. So you can still do your meandering if you would like. So this is the 40th bug fair, which I think we could have made a bigger deal about it being the 40th. I'm just saying that that's like a big milestone. That's like really cool. This is from the Natural History Museum's website. Over 1 million species, only one bug fair. Fly over to NHM on May 16th and 17th for our 40th annual bug fair. NHM's 2-day fan favorite festival celebrating our bug-eyed and multi-legged friends. Experience up-close encounters with crawly creatures, gain a deeper appreciation for insects, their ecosystems, and their impact on our planet. Get hands-on and crafty interactive activities, and so much more. Also, while you're here, be sure to visit a variety of exhibitors who will be displaying and selling everything from exotic insect collections to amazing bug-related products. Now, this was the first time I think I've ever heard of the Bug Fair. I've definitely probably seen videos from the Bug Fair before, but this came to my email because I am now a member of the museum. And I'm not saying I'm better than you, but like, I am a supporter of history and science. Also, I'm a supporter of the bugs because I give them more money.
It's time for the Bug Fair.
Oh, it's busy. Also, I love this museum. It's so sick.
We got stuff for the bugs.
Food and such. So the bug fair itself, took the train down, walk in, open at 10. I didn't realize that I got in early. Also, members also get early access, so I could have gotten in at 9. Oh well. I got in at like 11 anyway. It takes me like an hour on the train. The way I enter in, because it's the entrance from the train, is through the gift shop, and you're into the grand foyer where they have the T-Rex and the Triceratops. It's really sick. It's really cool how they do this. They had a bunch of booths in the area surrounding this whole grand foyer. They had a couple different alphabet agencies, as I call them: USDA, APHIS, PPQ, Los Angeles Master Gardener Program. They had the I know the word entomological. Why can I not say the word entomological? The Lurkwin Entomological Society out here as well, and Southern California Carnivorous Plant Enthusiasts, and a couple of others out here too. And so a lot of them had exhibits of like different bugs that are native to California, native to the Los Angeles basin, some that were invasive species, like, hi, here's what to look out for, here's what you do if you find some type of things. Some talking about like these are different plants. There were people selling plants as well. For different, native species of plants. There was a couple of artist booths. There was a stained glass person. There was someone that did stickers and drawings of beetles, which was cool. The two halls that were taken over was the African Mammal Hall and the North American Mammal Hall. 12 vendors in one room, 15 vendors in another. And these were ranging from people selling the display boxes for pinned insects. These were people selling live and living insects and crabs. Was confused by the crabs, I do admit. There was some people that were selling more of their artwork. There was some beautiful wood carvings that I thought were beautiful that I was extremely tempted by. Some people that were selling like bug themed like vintage items that they had been curating and stuff. There was tables selling caterpillars and like the kits to like, basically like raise your own butterflies. Side note, if you're watching this and you were tabling at Bug Fair, this is definitely one of those events that I think is a good example of why you should always have, if you are tabling anywhere, you should always have your own light source with you. I don't know if I ever talk about this in videos. If you are tabling, whether you are, a big table or if you're selling physical items, I think you should always have your own physical light source separate, that whether you use it or not, because this area already, usually the mammal rooms are very dark. I love it because then the exhibits are like really highlighted and you can see every detail. I love it. It's very fun. But they brought in lighting for these rooms. So it was pretty well lit, as you can see in the videos. But certain areas and certain tables, especially in the room that had the curtain divider, it put quite a lot of these tables in a shadow. And some people brought their own light sources, some people didn't. And I really think you could tell in like, especially when you are selling, say, butterflies that are iridescent and you're trying to show that off of like, look at this beautiful butterfly that you can bring home in a box. As some of you probably can see, I have a butterfly back here. I have a few, actually. I do. I wouldn't say I collect them. I admire them, and they end up calling to me at oddities festivals. But I'm obviously not buying anything right now because of my no-buy year. I think regardless of whether you're selling something physical, having proper lighting so people can see your products and your wares, I think is important. But also when you're trying to show off your skill with, say, pinning, preserving, the actual state of these insects and beetles and such. I think you got to have proper lighting to show that off. So I'm very curious today. As I'm recording this, the event is still going on. It was you could buy one ticket for one day or, one or the other. I do think one day is enough. Yesterday was very crowded, but I'm very curious to see by the end of this, especially if you tabled, let me know. If you would light source, and then how will you feel you sold? I would not be shocked with how well things sold here, because the sheer number of people yesterday was insane.
There's a shocking amount of people. This is the most people I've ever seen in a mammal room.
If I wasn't wearing a mask already because of the state of things, I would have been putting on my emergency mask that I keep in my bags just because of how crowded these rooms were getting. And especially because I feel like we could maybe spread things out more or even expand it. But I understand you don't want to take up too much of the other exhibits of the museum for the Bug Fair. I think this easily could be expanded. I think there's easily so much space that could be given, especially with the fact of, okay, some of these rooms are a little crowded when we are dealing with live insects. And I don't know, I feel like that can be traumatizing for a bug that is also then going to go home with someone. I'm the same way with the cat event. I'm sorry. I think it got a little weird. It was like, there was one crab that I saw that was like hunched up like this. And I was like, oh God, I think it's really fucking stressed. And I was really bothered by that. So I don't know. I feel like either limiting the amount of people that are in the rooms with the live specimen, or, broadening where the booths are so that people aren't crowding together. I kept having this like psychic vision in my brain, because that happens sometimes. You know how that is, right? Where you're just like, this could be the worst possible scenario that could unfold right now. And I pictured one of these tables tipping over because there were so many people. And I was like, oh dear God, because what do you do? Oh yeah, also, if you're a member, you got a special member pin for the bug fair. How fun is that? It's also iridescent. I'm enjoying myself a lot. That's my main note as far as like the spacing and the layout of this. I would space it out more, especially because I don't know, with how successful yesterday was. I'm assuming today is also very busy. It's sold out. As I'm on the website right now, like you cannot buy more tickets to the Natural History Museum right now because of the bug fair. That's very cool, but I also think that that shows that we could maybe expand this more or even put more booths outside. I understand that for live specimens, you can't have a ton of them outside because, well, I mean, they are insects. But they're in containers. So we're getting into bug ethics now, which I do think is important. And I also think this is important as well, talking about it, because a lot of people have been discussing this. I've seen this discussed online about the loss of biodiversity in bugs, or even like, I don't know about you guys, I've barely seen a June bug in season for like 6 years. Like, it's never when I'm supposed to be seeing them. And then even when I do see them, it's like a lot of discussions of that. And so I think that more people being excited about bugs, I think could lead to more people caring about biodiversity within bugs, and bug populations and how that affects, the entire animal ecosystem in general. And I think that an event like this is very cool for that. And I feel like we could do more as far as like the talks go and things like that, because they do outside. Back here is a whole little kids area, so they've got a bunch of different booths with people that are like talking with the kids and stuff, so it's very fun. But that's why I'm not filming in that area, but that is out here. There was a thing with the pond with a couple of different areas set up, but it was very clear like this is the kids area, so I didn't go over there. That's where the Lego Build the Change area was, which makes sense because Lego was one of the sponsors, and I was like, where's Lego? They were over in the area I didn't go to, of course. They did have a little stage presentation area, and these were outside of the Nature Lab. Nature Lab is definitely cool. If you have kids, I definitely recommend the Nature Lab. They had Lola and the Bees. This science will blow your mind. Curious about the future of food. Bug power from super strength to web slinging. Meet some baby bugs. Mostly the kids were very excited for this, but this was very cool. And the presentations were great. I just think that there also would be a place for more bug talk that's not like just for kids. I want bug discussions. I do think another stage as well that is less child focused, but I understand a lot of people were children here. That being said, this was so fun to see. One thing that I love about events, because I love meeting a lot of people and getting the most out of life, but I also love seeing, different subcultures and subgroups and things like that. And bug people are so numerous and diverse. It's fascinating. Like, I saw girls that had designed like their own full like crocheted bug outfit. We had goths. We had the most TikTok girly pop girls you've ever seen in your life. We had PTA moms. We had big dudes being very excited about bugs. It was just like very fun. It was a very fun group. I very much loved it. Everyone loves bugs. I love when I go to an event and I can tell that the person that they are at the event for is the child. And the kid is so excited and their parents are totally like being supportive and being so excited, like making sure like, okay, did you ask? Okay, so this is the bug you're going to get. Do you know what you need for it? Let's go do this. Let's go find this. We found this person over here earlier. Let's go buy that, and like the amount, like the care that these kids were having with like these containers for the grasshoppers and stuff that they were getting. And I don't know all the names of the bugs. Don't ask me to name all the bugs, but like the one that looks like a grasshopper, but it's also like looks like a flower. A little boy was looking at that thing in his hand as if it was a flying Lego figure. Like, I don't know how else you describe it. Grasshopper looks like orchid mantis. A little boy had an orchid mantis that he looked he was like so excited and he was holding it with such care. And his dad was like, okay, now let's go make sure we have everything that we need. They told you what you need to go get. Let's go find them. And that was just really very fun and very cool. And I always love seeing that, and I hope these kids don't lose their love of bugs as they get older. That's very nice, but they seem to come from supportive families, which is lovely. They had this giant giant puppet show thing that was walking around in the outside area where they had food trucks. There was a mosquito booth out there as well, where kids could put their hands. I also, as an adult kid, could put my hand in the thing. I did not do that. I'm so sorry. I literally have a bug bite on my neck right now. I'm not putting my hand in the mosquito box.
There's a box back there where they are breeding basically sterile mosquitoes that they release so that if they breed with like the invasive species mosquitoes, even if they lay eggs, they will hatch.
We're talking about like, oh, here's where you can find the invasive, if mosquitoes lay eggs, here's where they might lay eggs. You can report it. You can do X, Y, and Z. We will come deal with it. If you report it, if you see a lot of mosquitoes in your area, here you go. Very cool. Lots of seating areas, but that's because they have a full grill inside. So there's a full like eating area. And then there's the gardens have a lot of spots to eat as well. So I ate my turkey burger with a squirrel in the shadow of a tree. It was lovely. You sold out and there was so many people and it did get hard to move it sometimes. There was some line control, a little bit. Not well done. I believe it was the North American Mammal Hall that had the divider down the middle as well. I almost wish that you would have done that in the African Mammal Hall as well, just because I feel like it did provide a little bit more stability for the way things were moving. Because in that hall where there was no middle divider at all, people were just darting back and forth. And so that also made it a lot more crowded in this area. And I just think when we're dealing with also live insects, I think there's a little bit more of a calmer crowd control I think might be needed, especially because one table had a big thing of bees, which was cool. But I was also just like, if someone tips this over, that would be really bad for the bees, but also would probably cause much a panic. That's the thing, especially when you're dealing with this many people, you do have to kind of think about like, okay, worst case scenario, what could cause, trampling of children because of how many people were here, but also how many small people were here because children. I think that dividing of things like that would be helpful. I had a lot of fun. I just think that overall, spreading things out or limiting capacity. However, I understand not limiting capacity because obviously this supports the museum as a whole. And I'm very curious to see how this shakes up compared to other events that you guys do. And because this was so well attended, you know what I'm saying? And so this is the first event that I've attended with them. So I'm so curious to see how it shapes up for other events supporting the museum. Exciting. Great. But I think there's a way to do it in a way that doesn't, isn't a risk to the insects or, crowds of small children. And yeah, I would definitely go again. That was fun. The amount of people that were messaging me like, there's a bug fair in LA. Yeah. It's at the Natural History Museum. I'm not affiliated with them at all, by the way. I am a member, but like they don't know me. I want to make that abundantly clear because I understand like it does sound like a sales pitch. The same way that my friend was like, "Are you working with the LA Metro? What's going on?" Why? I like cool things. When I like something, I like talking about it. All right. They also have a butterfly pavilion right now. I believe that's still in season. So the butterfly pavilion is also outside. I don't think that was included with your ticket for this time around, but usually you do have to pay more for the butterfly pavilion because it's like a secondary thing, but good time to see it as well. Side note, I believe they still have the orchid exhibit right now. That's why I went to the Natural History Museum the first time because I want to see the orchid exhibit. It's a traveling orchid exhibit. It's currently in LA. Also very sick, giant orca. They have like life-size orca models and stuff and a bunch of stuff from like Free Willy and things like that, which are funny. But yeah, I think that's going to be it. Are you a member of your museum? Have you ever been to a bug fair? Is there a bug fair, bug festival, bug hullabaloo that you would like me to, that's not, you would like me to check out? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. Reminder, Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder, check out Curly Pop Go if you'd like some more car and motorsport content. Shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me on channel memberships. If you all support me on channel memberships, you can go and join down below. Like to follow me on social media. It'll be up here. And that's me to have a day. Goodbye. I traveled too much to be someone to bring bugs into my home, okay? But there were some beautiful pinned butterflies that looked very lovely. And even just the way, like the amount of specimens that were out was very cool. The wood carving booth also had giant spiders hanging off the back. And I didn't even want to ask how much they were because all of their prices were very reasonable. And I was just picturing, I was like, one of these over my fireplace would look so sick.